virtue charged with the administration of miracles, it is wrapped in flames when appearing in the physical world, a power emblematic of its courage. A torrent of flame blazing as bright as the sun, these flames become the light that burns away darkness from those who have received the graces of fairness. However, for those out of the angels' good graces, they are the fire and brimstone of destruction. Amongst the spiritually powerful of the Middle Ages, it was thought Paradiso held for all of a divine will, and as a result, they developed heavenly logic. The concept of the cardinal virtues was born of this logic, and classifies Paradiso's divine will into 4 broad groups. These cardinal virtues occasionally become physical manifestations of the great intentions of Paradiso, and are known as the Laguna, inspiring awe in the masses. Personifying courage and fortitude, Fortitudo has been depicted as a terrifying being sporting an enormous face and 2 dragon heads. He is said to be capable of summoning magma that flows at will. Grace, draped in flame, and Glory, controller of lightning, are the twin escorts of the Creator. They share a wild disposition and are often depicted as gods of war, heroically leading the soldiers of Paradiso into battle, with their giant claw-like weapons being symbols of their ferocity. Humanity recognizes the increased spiritual power of the twins, a power that comes from the blessings of grace and glory. Fearless are classified as dominions, the 4th rank amongst the hierarchy of angels. Controlling the lightning feared by many as the instruments of divine justice, Fearless makes known the majesty of God to the masses. Almost all of the naturally occurring lightning in the world is a result of the actions of these angels. It is said that divine wrath against gluttons is released in lightning's flash as the thunder signals heaven's roar. Within the 2nd sphere dominions, whose names imparts feelings of control, sovereignty, and governance, the angels named Harmony stand as a special symbol of peace. When appearing in our world, it is said that humans experience their presence as an aurora-esque light. However, when viewed from Purgatorio, one would see Harmony embracing humans within their outstretched, fin-like wings. Often pictured holding a trident and floating through skies, Harmony are tasked with the defense of the heavens, even within Paradiso itself. The highest-ranking member of the 3rd sphere, Ardor, are a Christian with the rank of principalities. Presiding over the protection of the masses from evil spirits, they are equipped with a shield and armor of proof. Wielding the power of Paradiso and those who encroach upon happiness, Ardor are recipients of much adoration from those seeking salvation. Inspired are members of the angelic 1st sphere, in the rank known as Thrones. Those in this class are spiritual beings of the highest order, never meeting directly with humanity. Works of art have depicted them as flaming wheels. However, artists of true inspiration have pictured Inspired as a long snake-like body circling upon itself. It is often thought that Inspired act as a wheel holding up the chariot of the beloved god. In truth, Inspired are actually fighting alongside their angelic cohorts, randomly swallowing up the followers of darkness. Long ago, 2 clans, the Umbra Witches and the Lumen Sages, oversaw the passing of history while balancing each other's power. However, one day, the clans set loose a tremendous war upon the world, then crumbled away. Only Bayonetta, sleeping soundly on the bed of a dark, cold lake, escaped the battle. To recover her lost memories, Bayonetta once again throws herself into the fight between light and dark. Why is this mysterious woman chasing her? What does she know?
And now that you've returned, my sleeping beauty, it is time to finish that fight.
An enigmatic raven blackbird shrouded in the mysteries of the sky. Ever curious, Malphas has filled itself with all the world's knowledge and mysteries. However, this same curiosity has led to a rather brutal demeanor, causing the bird to tear those it encounters to shreds with its sharp beak and razor-like talons. Umbra Witches, controllers of the dark power. The ways of their discipline were actually quite varied. Breathing, movement, medicine, and tactics were joined in the Middle Ages by training in the operation of heavy weapons, culminating in a curriculum whose total breadth and intensity are hard to ascertain. This training forged both the body and the soul, honing each witch into a vessel capable of withstanding the rigors of the magical arts, and allowing one to begin to interact with other dwellers of the magical realm. This interaction with the world of spirits lies at the very core of magic. To put these dwellers of the magic realm into layman's terms, they most closely fit the common conception of demons, developing demon-like powers. It seems like this was one of the reasons these women were burdened with a sad fate, always living in history's shadows. I have been able to gain no further solid information regarding the magical arts, as the witch clan has long since been annihilated, and their memory forgotten. The residents of this town detest them with all their hearts. To allude to their existence is quite the taboo, yet the key to unlocking the witch's mystery still remains. In Vigrid, the man held up by many to be a paragon of faith continues to seek out any remaining witches. Are the witches once thought to be wiped from the earth still among us? If they are, how have they survived this long? What did they know? And where on earth could they be hiding? Finally, I have obtained scraps of a document that appears to lay out another elementary principle of the magical arts. I am unable to decipher the writing on the document, but it seems to describe a martial arts technique known as dodge offset. I pray it will be of use to someone, so I have included it within these notes. The magical arts of the Umbra. Their true significance is best understood in the context of how the Umbra were able to use this magic, via direct contact with demons in Inferno. It is thought that these witches underwent strict training in order to master the various techniques. However, the truth is colored by the fact that the witches left people awestruck and were greatly revered. The true root of their power was none other than the ability to take unbelievably strong demon energy and bend it to their will, using it freely. The witches' direct contact saw them reaching into the heart of Inferno's darkness and summoning the beasts that dwell there, drawing out their incredible magic and destructive powers. The witches under contract with these demons were able to exercise power far beyond any that could be obtained by mere mortals, to the extent that some may even term these powers as aggressive or brutal. It was thanks to these powers that the witches boasted such awesome force in battle. From the Vigridian religious perspective, those living in the human world find interaction with other realms to be incredibly difficult. Residents of Inferno also find it impossible to manifest themselves in the human world. This is why witches require some sort of catalyst to summon demons into the human world, channeling the spirit via this medium. The catalyst most often used by witches was their hair. It is well accepted that hair had many uses in the magical arts, and the witches call this use of their own hair the Wicked Weave. It was said to have been used not just to summon demons, but also summon magical items, as well as forming the witches' uniforms. I would also like to touch briefly on the despair these women must have felt. To gain incredible power afforded to them, they were forced to trade their souls to the demons of Inferno. Within the Trinity of Realities, it is believed that the deceased find their souls sent to heaven in an endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. However, witches were met with only a single possible fate, death, followed by endless torment in Inferno. Once one had set foot upon the path of the magical arts, there lay nothing but the harsh reality that there is no turning back. Despite this fact, it was a path desired by a never-ending stream of believers. How these women captured so many hearts, minds, and imaginations remains unknown. In Vigrid's long, protracted history, there was once an enormous Coliseum built facing the sea. It remains today, largely intact. According to record, the Coliseum was used not for martial contests or other games, but as an altar for the worship of one of the era's gods, a being known as Fortitudo. Even today, as the urban functions of the city move to Isla de Sol, the Coliseum holds a special place in the religious beliefs of those who worship the Laguna. Even though the winds of time have long since destroyed the road leading to the structure, forcing a treacherous passage through the cliffs, the stream of those making a pilgrimage to the Coliseum is endless. As overseers of history, the Lumen Sages and Umbra Witches were both incredibly powerful, each fearing each other and strictly prohibiting interrelations as a way to maintain the balance of power. Upon the annual occasion of a total solar eclipse, only the selected elders of each clan were allowed to meet with the other group to conduct negotiations. I suppose that each clan, drawing their power from the sun and the moon respectively, must have held the eclipse as the most special of celestial phenomena. The two clans, inexorably linked but opposed like positive and negative, solidified this relationship in their interconnected mountain hideaways, the Witch's Sanctuary Crescent Valley, and the Sage's Sacred Sunrise Valley. Located in an inaccessible and treacherous region, these areas were lined with countless rows of stone monuments dedicated to each clan's dead, and large statues depicting a witch and sage stood at the center of the shared area, demarcating the border between each clan's territory. Each statue had its back turned to the other, and their visages, as though rejecting any human intrusion, stir intense feelings of discomfort within one's soul. Atop these statues, the clans met for their yearly consort, giving this place a mysterious but interesting ambience. These valleys were not just filled with the immemorial tombs, they were also home to training facilities in the light and dark arts, held as sacred ground by both clans. Today, the statue of the Umbra Witch is a truly gruesome sight, as a giant spear has pierced the woman's chest. If it was shoved through the statue during the witch's age of persecution, it would have required unspeakable power from the Lumen Sage who carried out the act. The Umbra Witch's sacred Crescent Valley is said to contain enormous relics harkening back to the valley's place as a training ground in the witch's supernatural magic arts. The long bridge that snakes between the cavernous ravines of the valley, stone circles hinting at celestial principles, training chambers where death was wagered in hopes of polishing one's skills in life, all of these are depicted in the tattered records I've obtained. I know not if they ever truly existed, however, the magnificent appearance of the witches' statues in the distance seems to indicate that the legends passed down through history are, in fact, real. Amongst these numerous artifacts, the most mysterious are those known as heavenly manipulators. I have already described how the Umbra Witches drew their power from darkness and the Lumen Sages from the light. However, I have not mentioned how these powers were at their greatest during full moon or at the peak of the sun's ascent. The two groups created the heavenly manipulators to affect the movement of the moon and the sun, and these devices played a role in the clan's most important of ceremonial rites. If stories are to be believed, the clans could affect even the ways of the cosmos as well. The powers of the witch and sage were not common knowledge, although, as overseers of history, one can imagine that they must have appropriately powerful abilities, making their ultimate destruction an even more ironic end. Beginning in the 15th century, the whole of Europe has been swept by a madness, a tragic event unprecedented in the whole of human history, the witch hunts. As a result, the dark clan of Umbra Witches were wiped from the pages of history forever. Working at the behest of the powers that be, and making use of their ancient magical arts, the witches watched over the passage of time within the human world. Or at least they did, until suddenly being swept up in waves of persecution, and finally crumbling away under the pressure of the people's harsh recommendations. The woman's sorrowful blood-stained tears crystallize into bright red gemstones, and according to Vigoridian legend, are said to be scattered everywhere. These stones, filled with their feelings of regret, are known as Umbran Tears of Blood. To this day, the people of Vigrid believe that should 100 of these stones be brought together as one, enormous calamity shall befall the land. Yet, no one has actually seen one of these gemstones, the ultimate of witchly souvenirs. They must be found for you by a crow, a beast whose heart lies in resonance with the departed witches. These crows act as the witches' loyal servants, protecting their tears from falling into human hands. Vigrid is littered with the legacies of ancient age. Amongst these are the stone coffins used to bury departed witches. Along with their fellow overseers of history, the Lumen Sages, the Umbra Witches used their incredible power to repel any intrusion upon Vigrid. Under these auspices, the witches abode by the terms of their netherworldly contracts, and upon parting with the physical world, the strongest of the witches were defied as guardians, and buried in stone coffins throughout the town. These stone coffins were sealed tight, and it was said that only those with knowledge of a witch's magic could open them. Even during the witch hunts, when the coffins were subjected to attempted demolition, not a single soul was able to peer into the contents within. According to one theory, the contract with their demon masters stipulates that upon leaving this earth, a witch's soul nor body can remain. It is said Umbran burial customs were developed for that very reason. The women would bury their loved ones in treasured stone coffins to lessen the pain of those destined for Inferno, even if the effect was slight. Today, unable to break the magic seal upon the coffins, the Lumen Sage seal of the sun has been placed upon the stone sarcophagi as a counterweight. If by chance the power of witches were to return to this world, they would be prevented from opening their coffins due to the seal. This is a clear indicator of the sort of persecution these women were subjected to during the witch hunts. While the whereabouts of the witches' tombs is outlined above, the location of the tombs for the Lumen Sages remains unknown. According to remaining records, they had taken up final resting places with the Umbra in the secluded region known as the Crescent and Sunrise Valleys. It is said that Lumen Sages, who conducted their duties not in the darkness but the light, rest peacefully in their valley after departing from this world. Finally, there are rumors that somewhere in Vigrid, research is underway to extract the spirit energy from the departed witches. It seems that the fate of the Umbra Witch and Lumen Sage has yet to truly be decided. There is a place beloved by wanted men and rogues, where money and power rule all. It is where I have established my office. Those who call this place by its given name are instantly identified as newcomers, as the tired hands of this rat hole all call it by a single name only: the Dump. Bloody battles and dirty disputes over money are an everyday occurrence here, and the concept of concern for one's fellow man was long since lost on the Dump's denizens. What the people here are after, what they love to see, is not of this world. They thirst for the uproar only the occult can inspire. The appearance of a specter, a man being devoured by a demon. These are the snacks they eat as they drink and cavort in the Dump's numerous watering holes. It is this place that I have come on my pilgrimage in search of a grasp on reality. The Dump is a wretched hive for all sorts of scum and villainy, home to everyone from black market businessmen to informants and devil hunters in between. But amongst them all, one man is particularly strange. His name is Rodin, the proprietor of the Gates of Hell bar. His front may be that of a bartender, but rumor has it he is actually an arms dealer. Of course, if a man such as myself were to visit his establishment, there is no way all of his secrets would be laid bare. However, I can tell just by the air around him that he is a dangerous man. Unlike the standard assortment of thugs in this place, his is a sort of danger on a truly different level. According to my colleagues, if one carries enough clout here, Rodin is known to provide a gun or blade should the fee prove satisfactory. That is all I've been able to wring out of the people here. There are also rumors that if you enter the bar from sort of hidden entrance, he'll provide you things that money cannot buy. Or so saith the gossips in this occult-obsessed town. They even go as far as to say these things are not made via normal means, but are weapons made from materials available only in Inferno. In the Dump, there are enough rumors to rot one's ears, and if I hadn't seen the fresco of the Trinity of Realities, a staple of the Vigridian religions, on Rodin's wall, I would have dismissed talk of him as nothing more than these tall tales. In any case, if I am able to fully investigate this man's secrets, I will surely be able to obtain the truth I so desperately seek. However, aimless sniffing around in this town is a great way to wind up dead. I'll have to be prudent and not leave things to chance.